Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on my very first show of the Mercy Queen. I know a lot of you guys are kind of wondering. I've done some sensational videos out there, kind of goofy, kind of zany, more to come. And the first thing I wanted to start with is my intentions for the podcast channel, The Mercy Queen. And in order to share with all of you what my intentions are, I would like to start off by a story that I wrote myself. And I think it really exemplifies my intentions with this channel and with the Mercy Queen, and also with my business model, Mercy Mediterranean. So, are you guys ready? Are you ready? So, once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a young girl who was known to be the notorious beggar of the land. A lot of people didn't see her for what she was and who she wanted to be. And in reality, a lot of people were horrendously mean. They didn't like her because she looked dirty, maybe because of her hair, the color of her skin, whatever it was to begin. And as time passed in the narration on this beautiful land, a transformation occurred. This young girl from the age of 5 to 15 eventually one day was set in the position of becoming the queen. And now she was the queen of the kingdom, and she ruled the land. And she was known for her mercy and kindness and love that she wanted to spread. But you know what? She was a little bit confused because sometimes people saw her in the kingdom and said, "Hey, wait a minute. Is that the beggar, the girl that was once the beggar?" And other people said, "Wait a minute. There's my queen." So every day in her reality, with all the things she heard, with all the good things said about her and all that was slurred, she felt deep pain because she didn't know what to see. She didn't know how to behave. She didn't know who to be. So one day, the wise man came to her beautiful court. And he was like, "My beautiful queen, I have an idea beyond the realm of your dreams. How about we do a ceremonial thing every single day? We will set up a huge mirror in front of everyone in our domain. And you look at it in front of all of us. And in a whisper within your heart, let us see what you see. On that day, do you see yourself as the beggar? Or do you see yourself as the queen? It is not something that you have to proclaim. Just let us know what you see or keep it within." So she's like, "Okay." And so in the ceremony for 10 years, 10 long years, she did it every day. She went in front of everyone, didn't really care what they had to say. And she would look at the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, only to figure out, who the hell am I after all? And then one day she woke up, I hate to say it, mad as fuck. And she got up and she basically took that hammer and with her claws and with her teeth and all her jaws, basically broke the entire mirror like an unhappy Santa Claus. And then guess what? Everyone in the court was like, "Man, that's the crazy queen. That's the crazy better." And some even who loved her said, "Hey, that's my queen," or "That's just the better." And then the omnipotent wise man came into her like a jester in her court. He came in her quarters and took her aside. He said, "Man, you're ruining our gig. You're ruining my pride. What are you doing, my queen? Why would you do that? Now people are calling you all these things. People are becoming even more mean." And she said, "Oh, my dear friend, not a wise man or a jester. Why do we gotta always label people, sister or mister? In reality, isn't it okay not to be okay?" She said, "You told me it was wise every single day to look at myself in a mirror, to see to transform myself based on what other people had to say." And she said to him, "I realized finally that why in the hell am I looking at a bloody mirror to see my soul anyway?" the intention kind of behind the story is this concept of kind of human evolution, right? Kind of like sometimes like you got a family member that, maybe was an alcoholic or maybe just notoriously late, right? And you just, their reputation is that they're late, you're always going to be late. And let's just say they like one day decided and they woke up out of bed, they're like, I'm gonna fix that, I'm not going to be late anymore. And now they're arriving on time. Well, you know what, they are the notoriously late person. And when they come on time, it's like, oh my god, you're here on time. And I think it's kind of like human nature to kind of, put someone in a preface of just a moment. And there's like really no forgiveness of just making a mistake. Everything that's created, right, has a yin and a yang, a good and a bad. What I wanted to speak once again about what my intentions are with the Mercy Queen podcast or broadcast show is to start talking about mercy in every single concept of our lives. Because in the end of the day, I think everyone just wants to live with mercy and everyone wants to receive mercy. When we're talking about my definition of kindness and mercy, kindness is just, the art of being generous, kind, and friendly, right? And we got mercy in the dictionary kind of defined as showing forgiveness and compassion towards someone who may not deserve it, okay? Kindness to me is something that I think everyone deserves and is entitled to, every creation, right? Kindness is something that should be the normal standard. It shouldn't be extra, right? Every human being, every single child, every single woman, every single man deserves kindness. Everyone, for example, if you go to work, right? You can't cuss out your coworker because what's going to happen? You're going to get written up, you're going to get fired. But if you're at home, you can be like, you can go crazy on your husband and your wife. You can go crazy on your kids. But in a really evolved relationship, should anyone go there with anyone, right? And so kindness is an element that everyone just deserves and is entitled to, but it would be ideal if kindness was received in every moment, right? And it's not the reality of our lives. Now, when we're talking about mercy, okay, and the Mercy podcast is attached to my business, and its intention, like I said, is not only to talk about mercy and how it encompasses everything that we all want, whether it's mercy and acceptance, mercy and self-love, mercy and the experience of racism, mercy and anything, motherhood, mercy and parenting, right? It goes mercy and depression. It can go viral and global to any concept. I have a friend who started, a movement called Women's Wrong, and you can Instagram it. And her intention is to kind of get women up there to laugh about some of the things that have happened to us. And speaking to that, it's a safe place. It's a place where you can mess up and feel good about yourself. But in intention, she's kind of doing the same thing that Mercy Mediterranean wants to do, which is provide inclusiveness and start learning to love and embrace, and accept flaws and not be so critical, especially be forgiving of some of the things that may have hurt all of us, right? Because everyone's dealing with some kind of hurt. Speaking to that, I'm going to be inviting guests, and a lot of times the way it's going to happen is I will have, just to make it very clear, if I invite you, a consent form. And the consent form will allow you to basically consent that you're willing to participate in the podcast with me. And there'll usually be 3 questions in pertinence to what I want to ask that individual person and how I met you, how I know you. So like I said, we may do mercy and comedy, or mercy and depression, or mercy and loss, mercy and losing someone you love, mercy and sickness, right? I am going to be starting every single question with a very basic question. What does the term mercy mean to you when I say it? What does the word mercy mean? And everyone can say something, whatever they want. It could be something religious. It could be a story about their childhood. Whatever you want to share that day, you have the right to share. And then we will continue with the 2 other questions based on that guest. And then, towards the end of every video, I'm going to do a little like Marvel kind of thing at the end, where I may, if there was a guest on the show, I may do something to basically tell them that reminds me of them, whether it's a song, a silly dance, a joke, or a poem. So I'm going to, get jiggy with it and do a little dedication to my guests based on who they are and what they mean to me. So we have that memory. So going back to kindness and mercy and defining it for myself, like I said, kindness is just a human right. And it's even an animal right, whether it's a dog, and everything deserves mercy, right? Even a spider, right? I mean, I know we kill spiders, but I mean, sometimes might not mean so bad, cockroaches, I don't know, but but when it comes to like mercy and my definition of mercy, to me, mercy for me in my life has been kind of God picking me up on times where I had no one else, where I felt stranded, literally physically making me feel like I could get up off the floor. And even God, for me, in my understanding of faith, and not to make this too religious, but I'm gonna be me. But sometimes when I was down and don't want to live anymore, I survived that, because a lot of things that I talk about, I've been told to hush hush. Yeah, I've been told to hush hush because, oh, don't embarrass yourself, don't embarrass the family. And I don't want to hush hush my pain. I don't want to hush hush who I am. I want to be able to share with you guys my vulnerability, because I'm hoping that when we do videos together, if someone's talking about maybe a trauma, whether someone was child abused, maybe someone was a victim of rape, I want people, whatever they choose to discuss on the show, to also have the right, before posting, to even authorize a consent form that says, you know what, I don't want this posted. Because vulnerability and sharing it, you're going to be laughed at, you're going to be hated on. And I'm willing to do this myself because I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to speak my truth. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to wrap it around any other way except my way. Because it's not that I'm trying to say my way has to be your way, but I'm trying to celebrate difference as it should be celebrated. So for me, mercy is the downpouring of like a monsoon rain after a drought. For me, mercy is like being able to wake up my neighbors at 3 a.m. because I'm like losing my crap and my family's not home. And to me, mercy is like my best friend who will be there for me through thick and thin. Mercy sometimes is just maybe like, I went to my son's birthday, I was organizing it, and I hadn't eaten all day, all morning. I was running around picking up all the food. And this young kid at this, restaurant that I went to, even though they don't sell chai at the restaurant, he just brought me an Indian cup of chai and put it on my table. And I don't remember his name, but I just, in my heart, like I just prayed for him. Like, I hope God just gives you whatever you want, because that little thing of just giving me that little cup of tea, like to him, it may just have been like, what? I'm just giving auntie tea. Don't call me auntie. So to me, that's mercy. Mercy is like when sometimes the unexpected kindness comes. Mercy is also being forgiving. Mercy is being empathetic. Mercy sometimes means that you may have the upper hand. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you have the upper hand. Mercy has so many dynamics to it. So the definition of kindness is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate, and a little bit crazy and zany and laughing a lot. All right. And the definition of mercy is compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within one's power to harm. And I don't believe in that definition of mercy. I want to evolve and revolutionize that definition, because I believe mercy is something that also every human being is entitled to. But mercy is something, I think, a little bit more elevated than kindness. And I think that's something to speak to, right? I mean, not everyone in their narration receives wealth and what's defined as wealth, or success and what's defined as success. And sometimes, because everyone's got a different path, a different road, the intention of this podcast broadcast, Mercy Queen, is to start bringing people halfway, right? I am a Muslim American Indian. I identify with my faith. I love being Muslim, and I want to share in future videos why. But I love being Muslim because of how it was taught to me. I love being Muslim, right? But then second, I hate to say it, I identify being American. I'm not, sometimes I meet people and they'll be like, oh, how do you speak English so well? Are you from Afghanistan? I got Indians asking me if I'm from Afghanistan or an Arab country. I do have Yemeni blood, but I'm actually Indian, right? And oh my God, you're not from Pakistan? You're Indian? I'm like, yeah, and I speak English, right? Every human being, you can't box a person. And that's what we've started to do as a society. We started to look at the Muslim woman and think, oh my God, she must not speak English, or she must be suffocated. We have assumptions, right? That's just the way that's what we do as people. And in order to break that, in order to start seeing people for who they are and what they want to be in the evolution of the life process, part of the game is just not gaming it at all and just living each day, and allowing people to breathe and make mistakes without pointing fingers at them or belittling them, and that's what mercy is. It's not just about you have the power to harm. You have the power to forgive. You have the power to see. You have the power to spread hope. I know a lot of people are kind of criticizing me about the sensationalism of my approach, but like I said, no way that I'm approaching it by being inauthentic. And MB one of his songs, one of the lyrics is, every saint has him a past and every sinner has him a future, right? And that lyric speaks true to me because that's what this podcast is trying to do, is not to necessarily delegate people as saints and sinners, but delegate people as humans, and realize what he's saying, in my opinion, is that every saint may have had a past of sin and every sinner has hope, right? And that's all I'm trying to do with this podcast, is to realign with hope, to realign with mercy for everyone. Let mercy be our speak. Let mercy be our language. Now, I want to go into the business model that I created, and I want to share a little bit of a story about it. So, once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, there was a girl, who went to UC Berkeley with an English major and wanted to write and be an artist and go around the world and travel with her self-help books. And she's got some unpublished books. She failed, right? And as the story goes, I ended up going into the medical field. And for 20 years, I've actually been in the field of mammography. And honestly, the reason I'm sharing this is because a lot of times in my life, it was like, man, you went to Berkeley? Like, what are you doing as a mammographer? And something that people made me feel like I should hate, I've learned to love. In the past 20 years, I've cultivated family. I met beautiful men and women, doctors, people, and I've lived a rich life doing a job that I realized that I'm good at. But going back to the business of Mercy Mediterranean, so the story goes like this. So basically, I met a chef who I think is really, really, really good at making Mediterranean food. And I really wanted to help him build his brand. And so there was a farmer's market that was happening, and I basically helped him as a friend to get into the farmer's market. And he was talking to me, and he said, I wish I had the money to start something on my own and a business partner. And I was just trying to help him. I was just trying to help him with the farmer's market. I volunteered, we bought a tent, and we didn't do as well as we wanted. But he said, think of a name. He said, think of a name for a Mediterranean business. And I said, why not Mercy Mediterranean? And he's like, why? And I'm like, the logo would be spreading mercy with everybody. And my intention with Mercy Mediterranean is simple. A lot of times with politics, we're trying to make an effective change, but my dream was basically to use food to make the effective change, right? I mean, everyone likes to eat, right? Mercy Mediterranean's concept, the food was amazing. I love being in the food hall and made a lot of friends. I felt like I made an impact. Imagine going to a drive-through where you have organic, healthy fast food, halal, no sodas, and I'm not there yet. It was a hard dream because I had, my father's a migrant from India and my mom, and their intention really was what could the lives of our children be, but specifically for the females, for the daughter, right? Because when he was growing up, I think the opportunities that he would have had were less. And as I said before, I'm very proud to be American, but Mercy Mediterranean was started with a lot of resistance. I had no money. I didn't have a lot of money in the account to start off with. And I had a mother and father in India at the time, and I had a husband who felt also that he wanted me to prioritize my family. I kind of wanted to respond to each of them now for the first time of my why. For my father, starting with him, I think it was just more about focus, like focus on your family. A lot of it was like, you don't know anything about business. So for my father, in short, I think it was fear. I think it was fear of, will I succeed? And focus, right? Focus on your own child, focus on your family, right? And so when my father used to ask me, like, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you starting Mercy Mediterranean when you have everything you need? You got your car, you got your kids, you got your home. So to my beloved father, here is why. On this is a plate of khichdi right here, and it's an Indian dal and rice. And my father, when he migrated, used to work 18-hour shifts in order to succeed and provide for our family. In the time when he came to this country, there weren't a lot of Indians here. Like now in the area we're in, there's a lot of Indians, a lot of Asians, but when we migrated here, times are different. So my dad, my beloved father, whatever you ask me why, I'll tell you why. Because I remember when I was in the car with you, my father in an 18-hour shift, when he used to come home singing and happy, he used to come home, and the time that he had left, he would like somehow make time for me. So imagine an 18-hour absence. I felt his presence. He was never gone. He was always with me. I don't look in my childhood and those hours that were left, because in the hours that he left when he should have been sleeping,
he was spending time with me. He was going on a 2-hour ride to Kmart, that was the Walmart, and spending time with his daughter and going grocery shopping for 2 hours for like a 5-minute errand. And my mom would have to call us and be like, come back, where are you? But the reason why is simplified. My father was an orphan. His father passed away at a young age, and there was 10 brothers and sisters. And for 10 brothers and sisters, this was the plate of food for 3 days. This was the plate of food for 10 children for 3 days. This was all they had, 3 days, 10 children, 10 children. Now imagine a circle and a mother who's a widow in India at the time. I mean, imagine, I really want you to imagine for 3 days, right? So I want to respond to my father, 2 things, Dad. When you say why did you want to start this business? Oh, you're my why, Dad. You're my why, because what if one day Mercy Mediterranean can make a global impact? And my dad said, what if you're homeless? Mom would say, what if you're homeless? What if you lose everything? I kind of laugh and say, well, Mom, if I'm homeless, I can put up a tent with my kids and we can go shower at 24-hour fitness. But the colossal thought of losing wealth, well, I hate to say it, to my father, we didn't come from a lot. We come from humble beginnings. So my why is simplified. My why is you, Dad. My why is, even though I have a young boy in my home named Muhammad, there's other kids out there that just don't have it. So to my beloved Father, when you ask me, will I be wealthy? I define wealth as spreading kindness and mercy as much as I can. And that may not mean the measure of monetary success, but everyone I come across, I just want to be my best that I can that day and go to sleep that night forgiving myself and hopefully offering the best of myself to everyone I meet. And so, Dad, to the Kitchery, you are my why. I'm not going to give up. The Mercy Mediterranean broadcast is a channel that is meant to spread the love and the light and to start talking again. In short, Mercy Mediterranean's global concept is to spread mercy with every bite and use the food industry to basically promote change and well-being for all of humanity. These are all intentions. These are my intentions. They're to make people fit in, feel included, feel loved, feel light, and spread mercy through food and through kindness and empathy. So last but not least, I want to leave with this book that's called Rumi's Little Book of Love. And I wanted to read with you guys my why, my conclusion of my why. The green in every tree is you. The beauty of every garden is you. My wealth, my work, my master is you. Solitude, purity, pretense is you. There is no reality but you. I invite you to celebrate the beginning of the Mercy Clean. I want to thank my girl, Marissa, my best friends, my son for supporting me today. I'm going to post the bloopers, they're funny. And I love you guys. And we're going to take a food break and peace out to you.
Oh my God, so many things you brought to me. I cannot carry this one. You got too many toys.